What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to modify a set of Hedman headers. We're going to put some V-bands on there, Cerakote them, and we're also going to paint the motor and get it running in this video.
So for this rebuild, I just went with a pair of Hedman headers. They're fairly affordable. They come coated with a paint that would burn off that you're supposed to take off and then either recoat them or something like that. So we got to get the coating off the headers. I also want to modify the headers to the point where I can take this exhaust apart easy, and I don't want to use the collector that it comes with. I ended up buying V-bands for it. So what I decided to do is take the bag that they came in and then try this chem dip on there and see if that chem dip would remove it, because a lot of people said that you use brake fluid to remove it. And in my experience, the chem dip works better than the brake fluid. So I let them both sit overnight, took them out, wiped them down again, and then I decided to let them sit one more time, and then I'll come back and clean them up. So after getting them all cleaned up, I ended up taking a Sawzall and cutting the collectors off both of them. Like I said before, I bought V-bands and they interlock with each other with a strap around it and hold them together. So it's kind of more, it's like superior to what it used to be. So I'm going to use the original collector to try to get the end back down to 2.5 inch, because where that pipes all meet, you know, it's about 3 inch or so, 3.5 inch. I'll just cut them down, weld them on, and then weld the V-band on the back of it. As you can see, the V-band fits perfectly inside the collector. So what I'll have to do now is just weld them together, try not to heat it up and, you know, put too much heat into it so I warp the V-band. So I'll just do it like I would do the frame, a little bit at a time. My welds on this thin metal are not that good, by the way, so thank you for that. So in order to do the Cerakote, to get it to stick, they tell you have to sandblast it. So I only have this siphon feed sandblaster, and it was giving me a hell of a time, but I was able to actually get them all sandblasted. Maybe took me about 30 minutes or so. Got them all nice and cleaned up. I'm gonna come back in with my spray gun with some lacquer thinner, spray them off, get them all clean, knock all the dirt off them first. So here I am hitting them down with lacquer thinner, letting them dry. We got to dry them quick so they don't flash rust. This Cerakote, it's an air dry mix and just says you got to shake it good. We're not using the right gun, but I've seen other people using a regular spray gun. And then you have to use this 190 micron filter to filter it. So we're not going to use a whole lot. I want to make sure that I can clean this gun out because I use this gun all the time. So I'm not going to overfill it or anything. We're going to use a really fine point on it, kind of like an airbrush, and then spray it down. As you can see, it sprays fine. Everything about it was actually fine. I let them sit here for about a week. They tell you to leave it for about 5 or 7 days or so before you start handling them too much. So I just hung them up, and now they look really good. They're actually pretty durable. I've spilled oil on them, scratched them, and they just wipe off. I have the engine all prepped here, ready for paint. We're going to paint the intake and everything. First, what we're going to do is hit it with some epoxy because the engine is metal or steel, and then the transmission is actually aluminum. And paint doesn't like to stick to the aluminum very well, so you kind of have to epoxy it first. So I'll mix up this Valspar epoxy that I typically use and get it sprayed. Now, I didn't show it sprayed black, but it was black epoxy. Now I've hit it with a silver base coat. This is like a shimmering House of Colors equivalent, I guess you could say. I didn't add any flake to it, but it is and it does have a lot of flake, microflake in it now. So it's the typical candy base coat. As far as the candy went, I just ended up using House of Colors brandy wine just with the inner coat clear, so I could put it on with as little material as possible, because really the last thing you want is to have thick paint on an engine where it gets hot all the time. So the thinner the better. And you can see the transmission looks pretty good too. Once we hit that clear on there, it's really gonna pop. So after 2 coats of clear, that candy really pops on here. It laid out really flat. Everything looks really good. I'm actually really happy with the way it all turned out. Once I put the chrome pieces on there and then all the black accessories, it's really going to set the car off with even the bronze headers. So first things first, we got to pull off this oil pan. I didn't paint it because we are putting a chrome oil pan on there. So this engine has a 1-piece rear main seal, and it has this aluminum housing, and for whatever reason, they didn't give me an install tool. So the only thing I could come up with that was close to the right size was this yogurt cup. So what I'll do is I'll slide this on there to see where I can compress that seal, and then I'll cut the cup to that size so that I can just slide this cup on, slide the seal right over the cup, and it should go right on the crankshaft without any issues. So similar to the front crankshaft seal, it's got to hammer it out with a hammer. I couldn't get it out any other way. I've seen other ways online where they put a screw in there and pull it out with a pair of pliers, but I could not do it. So the hammer was the way. Then I came back in with 2 pieces of wood, sandwiched it, hammered it down like brand new. And similar to the front, we ended up using shellac to hold the gasket on. So I just put it on one side, shellacked it, And then we're gonna just hand tighten it, come back in with our torque wrench and tighten it down to spec. I know you can't hear it, but it made a ping noise. I would just have the audio on, but it's either fans and the radio or something playing in the background, so I couldn't even run the audio. But as you can see here, I actually broke the housing. So after waiting a week, got a new housing. I'm putting the shellac back on the new housing with a new seal, and we will get it back on there again. So hopefully second time here is a charm and we can get this on without any problems. I also felt like I was running into issues with the torque wrenches. I had 2 of them. I calibrated them. They seemed fine. After like a couple days, they were back out of calibration and I broke the thing. So I ended up going on Amazon. I found this digital one that can go on any ratchet. And it had really good reviews, so I gave it a shot, and it seemed fine. I didn't actually break anything this time. So since I want to start this motor on the stand to test it out, I had to put the flywheel on it. Put that back on, and I broke out my new digital torque wrench, and it worked great. If you'd like to get one of these digital torque wrenches, just check the link in the description. I should have everything in there. So I installed one of these new Summit carburetors. It's just like a Holley knockoff. It's a Summit 650 electric choke, or it could be manual. Or manual secondaries and vacuum secondaries, you can change it. Here, putting in a new oil pump. Always have to put a new oil pump in when you're rebuilding a motor. It's one of the most important parts of it. It's got to make sure that everything gets lubed up, otherwise it gets worn out. So one of the few things that I decided to add was this chrome oil pan. It's a little bit bigger, so it's going to take actually more oil to fill it, but I was hoping that maybe we would see it once the car is raised up. This HEI distributor is also a Summit HEI distributor. The only reason why I switched to this is the original one that I had, it had a separate coil and the intake I was using didn't offer that spot anymore, so I just upgraded this to the newer style. So after priming the oil pump through the intake, I didn't show it with a drill. We got some oil coming up through the lifters. I think originally I have the lifters a little bit too tight, so I had to go back and pull the push rods off just a little bit because I think I was collapsing the actual lifters, so it wasn't pumping oil initially. So after wiring it up real quick with the battery, we put a fuel tank up high so gravity feeds into the carb, and we are actually ready to fire it up for the first time.
That made a difference. Ready?
So running it with open headers kind of made a lot of noise, and my daughter wanted to come out, so did my wife, to try to hear the engine run for the first time. So I asked my wife to come outside to help me get this transmission mounted up to the motor so that I could put this in the frame and we could get moving on to the next part. So like a good wife, she came out here. I didn't have to kick her ass or anything. And then the next video, we will actually be putting the car and the frame together, or the body and the frame together, I should say. It's gonna be amazing that it's finally getting to that point.
Thanks for sticking around and watching the video. Please hit that like and subscribe. Next video we're gonna do is we're gonna get this body and the frame together. Finally is gonna come together, and hopefully we'll get that driving. So until next time, later.